side of the future meta. That's right, we'll put some decks into the spotlight. There are tier 1, overnight, there's Buzzwole Pheromosa, taking prize cards I suppose ya. Gotta be careful if it KOs ya, so you better use Ace and Roll. Then we have Gardevoir and Sylveon, with the right fairy jumps you'll soon be gone. Nothing you can do, we go on and on. Yeah, full control of our energies, son. Or how about Lucario and Melmetal? With no energies, there's no battle. Crazy defense is just how we settle. Metal frying pan, yeah, it's quite special. Episode 211. Are you ready to absorb some future knowledge? Here we go. What's up YouTube, it's Zapdos TCG here and welcome to episode 211 on my channel. As you know, this channel is all about the competitive scene of the Pokemon trading card game. So if you enjoy that content, be sure to demolish the like button and subscribe for more videos on a weekly basis. Today we're gonna actually look ahead into the future, because we're gonna talk a little bit about Unbroken Bonds and what new decks will pop up in the meta, because we have a little bit of insight thanks to the Champions League and Shiba in Japan. They actually hold a tournament there with over 1,700 players, so we actually have a little bit of information I want to just share with everybody, because yeah, you definitely want to know what is good. And Unbroken Bonds, the set will come out in the beginning of May. Actually be opening up a booster box case as usual on the channel, but the thing here about that set is that in this Champions League and Chiba, they only use like half of the cards that we will be getting in Unbroken Bonds. A couple of cards that they don't get actually yeah, just yet, as of course the cards that have fire support, things like Charizard and Reshiram are not included in that tournament, but I'm gonna talk about them after I'm done talking about the deck list. So I actually wrote a couple of things down, so you guys have all the best quality and information you want. So currently we have 4 top decks in the format. We have Pikachu Zekrom GX, we have Zapdos variants, of course, we have Zoroark Lycanroc variants, and we have Ultra Necrozma Malamar variants. If we look at the results of the Champions League and Shiba, we do see that all of these decks still remain as top decks. We do see Zapdos popping up, we do see Pikachu and Zekrom, Zoroark, Lycanroc, Lucario, and of course there's the Ultra Necrozma Malamar variants as well. So everything is still there. But we do see a couple of new contenders. Before we go on to the new contenders, let's check what has been changed about these top decks. We'll start with the Pikachu and Zekrom deck list first. So you see a lot of deck lists are available. We are of course at the best Pokemon website in the world, or for the trading card game, that is going to be Limitless TCG. Definitely check their website out. They're awesome, doing a fantastic job of just summarizing everything that we need to know. So we have of course Pikachu, Zekrom. We are only going to talk about the things that are new in the deck list. So first thing that sparks my eye is the Dedenne GX. This is a card that will actually shock the format a little bit, because it brings consistency in the form that we've got familiar with thanks to like Shaman EX and Expanded. It's actually the exact same thing, but very aggressive. Instead of just drawing cards, this actually throws away your hand and you can draw cards until you have 6 in the hand. So you can only play 1 DD charge per turn, so even if you smack down multiple Dedenne GX, you can only activate the ability once. So when you play this card from your hand onto your bench, you may discard your hand and draw 6 cards. So that means basically like semi-sycamore, if I can just say it like that. Very, very awesome. You can just get rid of everything and draw 6 cards. We will see this in Zoroark variants. Sometimes they definitely want to dig for that double Chorus energy or whatever. They will sometimes run 1 copy of that, but this is the Pikachu Zekrom version. They're going to be playing 2 copies of this. Also, it has an attack. Not we're going to use it anytime soon. We're going to mainly use it for the ability. I know it's a 160 HP GX Pokemon that gives up 2 prize cards. It is weak to fighting as well. What could be good about that? Well, Pikachu and Zekrom, as you know it, is a fantastic Pokemon and it hits incredibly hard, and this time around it gets even faster with, of course, they want to just use Tag Bolt GX as quickly as possible to just get, of course, tons of KOs. With Dedenne, it is possible to just speed this deck up a little bit further. You discard your hand, and then there are lightning energies in the discard pile. That means Tapu Koko Prism Star can use Dance of the Ancients to just get energies from the discard pile onto our Pokemon. And with things like Energy Switch, there's 4 copies of that in the new Pikachu and Zekrom deck. You can get those energies to Pikachu and Zekrom and start using Full Blitz as early as your first turn if you go second, if Thunder Mountain is in place. So that is just insane. Not only you don't always need Thunder Mountain, because you have a manual attachment and you can use 2 energy switches of the energies of the bench. So that is just insane. Getting a full blitz on your first turn if you go second is almost guaranteed with Dedenne. So that's why this deck is insane. Full blitz early game, and then you have lots of energies onto your Pikachu and Zekrom to then use Tag Bolt the following turn for then, another 2 KO. So very, very insane. What else is new? They actually use Rayquaza as well. Let's say you don't get an energy from Tapu Koko Prism Star. No matter, Stormy Winds can sometimes get energy onto Rayquaza, and with Energy Switch you can put it all the way to Pikachu and Zekrom, and that's how this deck list will will work. So nothing new besides that. With this list also runs Lysander's Labs to just disregard all the tool cards in play. That is fantastic. Things like a skateboard from Jirachi do not work. Things like Choice Band and all that stuff will not work in order for them to just one-shot Pikachu, which is awesome. So usually they try and come with Coco GX, but then they need Electro Power and Choice Band in order to just one-shot. And with Lysander's Lab, you just shut down all the Choice Bands altogether. Another new card for this list is going to be Electromagnetic Radar. You can discard 2 cards from the hand, and then you can search your deck for 2 Lightning EX or GX Pokemon. That could be 2 Dedenne, just going very quickly, or that could be like a Zeraora. Zeraora is still part of the deck, and Zeraora will make sure you have free retreat with Pokemon that have Lightning energies, and also comes back with Full Voltage GX. Sometimes, if you just get a lot of energies into the discard pile, you can also rely on the GX move of the Zeraora in order to just set up your entire bench. That could also happen if you're facing something that you don't want to use full Blitz, actually Tag Bolt against. That is also an option. That is the only thing that is new, and it's going to be very fantastic because Pikachu is getting quicker than ever, which is awesome. So that is something I wrote down here. Let's also check out a little bit of other Pikachu Zekrom lists. Let's just open a couple of them and see if I just forgot a few cards. There's a lot of Pikachu Zekrom in the format, so expect that to just pop up at tournaments again and again and again. The thing you should know here is that Dedenne 2 copies seems to be the main focus. Sometimes they run Zapdos, sometimes they don't. And the Electromagnetic Radar is also part of the deck. Other than that, they're also running this new card here, the Spy Hood. It's a tool card, prevents all abilities done to Pokemon this card is attached to by your opponent's Pokemon. So no more sniping and all that stuff. So that is going to be kind of interesting. I wonder why they are playing that. There's also going to be a return of Field Blower, 2 copies of that in this particular list. Why do we need Field Blower? Well, I wrote it down here because the new inclusion of Sylveon Gardevoir, that's a new Tag Team GX, Gardevoir Sylveon, very good with, of course, the Fairy Charms will have that Lightning Fairy Charm. That means Zekrom, Pikachu Zekrom cannot damage it. That means that we have to get 2 Field Blower, and with 3 copies of Voltner, you can also get that out. So Field Blower making a return. I also note that down. Other than that, everything I've talked about before. Absol is still part of this deck to just slow down things like Jirachi, just knocking off those escape boards, no longer useful. So we do see that the Field Blower is in here, and sometimes they also run Wishful Bane in the Pikachu Zekrom list, so that is also interesting to note here. Acerola also sometimes part of the deck. If you want to go like non-GX base, you can just put a Pokemon back in the hand, and that seems to be the thing here. Electromagnetic Radar, and also sometimes they run Judge Ray, so that is very interesting. Do they run multiple Judge? Yeah, this is a copy based with Judge. So yeah, Pikachu Zekrom, what we should note down is that Electromagnetic Radar is good, and of course that Dedenne will just power this deck up even quicker. Okay, next up, Zapdos. The thing I learn about Zapdos, I already checked out the list, is that sometimes they run Macargo, and the new included Buzzwole Pheromosa GX. This is going to be the new powerhouse. Gonna talk about this deck very shortly. This actually is in here for Beast Game GX. If your opponent gets knocked out by damage from this attack, you can get an additional prize card. And sometimes if you have like 7 extra energies, you can take 3 additional prize cards, but that's not gonna happen in attack with Zapdos. You mainly run like Beast Energy and also Rainbow Energies in order to activate this attack. With Macargo, you can definitely get that Beast Energy on top, and then you just Guzma something out like a Zorua, and then you can knock it out. It also can happen with things like Escape Rope in combination, the opponent will just promote something, and then you can just get the KO here. This is going to be fantastic to get yourself 2 prize cards early game, so that's why this is in here. Also, Hoopa seems to be in this deck. Why is that? There's 2 new decks popping up that, of course, have only GX Pokemon in them as the attackers, so that's going to be like, if you just promote Hoopa, you just win the game against those matchups, so that's why it's in here. Other than that, Zapdos is just using the typical strategy of Jirachi with Stellar Wish, and of course the multiple copies of Zapdos to target down weak basics, and then out of nowhere, Coco GX comes out of nowhere thanks to the Coco Prism Star. What else is new? They sometimes also run this, this is a very, very strange list with the Circuitry, because they will run the B-String, 2 copies of B-Strings in here, and also Mr. Mime seems to be part of the crew, because a lot of these top decks are running Acerola. You just want to just block that with Mr. Mime. Other than that, it's just very similar, like we've got familiar with Zapdos. They are just running a couple of tech cards. Another tech card I actually want to mention here is the new Kartana. I don't know if a couple of Zapdos lists run that. I'm just gonna go over them real quick so we have all the information as we want. Let's see here. Yeah, this Kartana. This Kartana with Daikiri as its attack dishes 10 damage, but if you have exactly 4 prize cards remaining, you dish out 130 instead. Why is this huge? Lycanroc is weak to grass, you one-shot that if you have exactly 4 prize cards remaining for a single energy. Fantastic. So also it has, of course, that attack that you can sometimes use. I don't know if there's B-string in here. No, there is not a B-string in here, but sometimes you can also get the attack of the Kartana here. Full swipe, flip a coin of heads, put damage counters on the opponent's Pokemon until they have 10 HP remaining, and with Shrine of Punishment you can get a KO. That can happen from time to time. You can also power it up with Coco Prism Star. So Kartana also seems to be finding its way into this deck, and Hoopa again is going to be part of the Zapdos deck against those powerful GX based decks. What else is new? This is a card that we're still not getting. I don't know if we're ever getting it, but Judge is an ideal replacement if you just want to know that. That's all for the new cards in the Zapdos list. So what can we conclude here? Okay, another card is this Unmanned Power Plant. Both players, Pokemon EX and GX in play, have no abilities. They're shutting down the trait ability of Zoroark, shutting down abilities of every GX in play is fantastic. I cannot stress enough how good that is. They actually promoted this card instead of Shrine of Punishment in this version of the deck. So we have the Unmanned Power Plant, we have the new Kartana, we can work with the Macargo line, and also you should know is that the Pheromosa and Buzzwole, actually Buzzwole and Pheromosa Tag Team GX will be part of the deck in order to just get more prize cards. Imagine you get 2 prize cards with that GX, then you get some more prize cards with Coco GX and Zapdos and stuff. It's gonna be fantastic. Zapdos is still a tier 1 deck. Moving forward is going to be the Zoroark Lycanroc list. It's also not going to be changing too much if I recall. I already checked beforehand. I do know that certain Zoroark lists do run, of course, the Dedenne in order to just get that DCE when they want to. And we do see that in a couple of lists. In this list, there's a lot of Pokemon in here. We have Pokemon Communication as the main way to get the correct Pokemon out. And this list runs on the Lily-based engine together with a lot of Nazballs and Ultra Balls. They are not running Professor Elm. Why is that? I have a lot of people who are questioning, like, how is it possible that people are not running Elm? That's because if they use first turn Marshadow, you don't, you actually have more chance to draw into Lily and Nazballs instead of just that one copy of Elm. Also, you don't have to get out your Tapu Lele GX, which is a huge target in the meta right now. They're still running Lucario since Pikachu is still very popular. Lycanroc seems to be in this. Also, the Twilight Eyed Lycanroc, so that is very peculiar. I don't see Lycanroc. Yeah, of course, the Lycanroc with the Dangerous Rogue, but there's also the one from Team Up, discarding energies, and of course, a Tick Alolan Muckline, shutting down, of course, that Jirachi with Stellar Wish. And the only difference here is that we do see attack of Reshiram. Why is that? Because the Pheromosa and Buzzwole will be huge in the upcoming meta, although Fire is also getting support, which I'm gonna talk about after I've done talking about the list. So Lily based engine, all the cards are available still. So the only new card is here is the Dedenne and the tech card of Reshiram. Other than that, is very similar, like we've seen Stefan Ivanov use Zoroark Lucario. This is also going to be running a little Ninetales line to just get, of course, the cards that you want. There's counter gain if you're behind in prize cards. There's also Macargo. A lot of Pokemon are being played because Pokemon Communication can get the correct Pokemon every single turn, so that's going to be fantastic. So other than that, I only think that I'll take a little Muckline. It seems to be the way they are playing Zoroark Lycanroc right now. It's still doing great ever since they actually has become popular, like the Zoroark Lycanroc, and it's still very good as of late. And with the upcoming set, maybe you can try out the Dedenne. Dedenne will be make sure that you can draw into whatever you want. With trade, and all that good stuff, together with a Dedenne, you definitely get what you want at the correct time. Okay, moving forward, we also have Ultra Necrozma Malamar. I don't know if there's something different here. I do think they only run like now a lot of copies of Viridian Force. Let's open a couple of them to just see what is going on here. Actually, we do see that everything is already available as of late. So with the new set, you don't even need new cards. If you're still playing not alone, Ultra Necrozma Malamar, you don't even need new cards. You can just go straight into the meta with this deck. They prompted to go with a Tapu Koko. Sometimes you Flying Flip in combination with, of course, the Giratina with the Distortion Door ability, and in combination with the GX move of Necrozma to get multiple prize cards at once. I've seen that happen before, so Sky Scorching Light, you definitely have to be careful of your Jirachis. If you're playing Zapdos, don't overbench your Jirachis or your B History. They're running a huge count of Viridian Force to just bump those stadium cards. A lot of people are playing a lot of stadium cards. And what else do we see here? Erica's Hospitality has been used for Viridian Force. Seems to be the main way to go. Marshadow is also in here, destroying Zoroark and Pikachu. So definitely stock up on some Marshadows if you're playing Ultra Necrozma, if you're still not playing it in your type of deck. So Marshadow seems to be, kind of a staple right now, and a lot of Viridian Forest. Other than that, it's very similar like the builds we've gotten used to. So that are the top decks right now. Now let's go on to the new decks. This is going to be the new contender here, Buzzwole and Pheromosa Tag Team GX. Fantastic Jet Punch. It's very similar like the one we got used to with, of course, Buzzwole GX, 30 on the active, 30 on the bench, and Elegant Soul deals 190, and during your next turn, this Pokemon's Elegance base damage is only 60, so there's ways to get around that. We can switch, we can Guzma, whatever. And then why is this good? This is all about Beast Game GX. You dish out 50 damage, and if you KO something, you get an extra prize card. But if this Pokemon has 7 extra energy attached, you can take 3 additional prize cards. What does this mean? You get 2 cheeky KOs early game, and late game you try to finish it with Beast Game GX. As soon as Pheromosa and Buzzwole GX hits the discard pile, you can rely on the many copies of Beast Ring to just set a lot of energies onto your Buzzwole and Pheromosa GX, and that will make it possible, of course, to just use that Beast Game GX for game. Because if you knock something out and you get 3 additional prize cards, you get 4 prize cards in one single attack. There's Life Force to heal off the Unmanned Power Plant, since this deck doesn't run any abilities. So a lot of Pokemon trainer cards in here. Pokegear as well. Lieutenant Search strategy. Make sure you can play a couple of supporters. That means you can Ace Rolla while also using things like Guzma and even the Green Surge. Green Surge seems to be a staple coming into the upcoming format. So look about this. This is gonna be fantastic. So the only weakness I see with this deck is that it is weak to fire. So Charizard will eat this up. And of course, Hoopa will just wall this for death. So that's the only thing I'm just afraid of this deck, but it's going to be very powerful indeed. Stall decks also get a little bit of potential back thanks to the Lucario Melmetal GX, thanks to Full Metal Wall GX. Until the end of the game, yeah, you heard that right, all of your metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's attacks. If this Pokemon has an extra energy attached to it, discard all energies from your opponent's active Pokemon. So not only are you disrupting with it discarding energies, this is just perfect for walling. You just play a couple of your metal type Pokemon. This guy has a free retreat cost if the opponent has a GX or EX in play, and then you could just get, of course, your metal frying pans and all that good stuff. This is a stall deck in order to just mill the opponent out. We have Dedenne taking 30 less damage with Metal Frying Pan. This will stay alive even after a Righteous Beating, so you can use the Mountain Crush, Mountain Munch even twice, discarding cards from the opponent's deck. And Lieutenant Search seems to be like a card that a lot of mill decks will be running. Also, the Lusamine Loop is still available in Standard and expanded its ban, but you just have to know that, you have to be careful of stall and mill decks. They have all kind of mechanics here. They have, of course, the Circuitry to wall you if you only have special energies. They have this Solgaleo with 160 HP, taking 30 less damage thanks to the GX move of Lucario Melmetal GX, and with Metal Frying Pans, this is going to be such a pain to just knock out because they will be using Max Potion turn after turn together with Ace Rollas turn after turn. So very annoying. Stall seems to be back. Not only with this type of variant, we also have an attacking Vileplume list. We already reviewed a list like this before with Virizion. The previous episode was all about this deck, so I'm not going to go in detail here. But Green Surge seems to be like a new staple in a lot of decks, so be careful of that. Also, another new deck is going to be Gardevoir and Sylveon GX. This is going to be one of the top decks in town. Why is that? Because this kind of Tag Team GX is going to be fantastic because with Kaleido Storm, you dish 150 and you can move as many energies attached to your Pokemon in any way you like. Well, this opens the door to just use that attack while getting energies to your bench, while using Ace or Rolla to just get the damaged one back after it gets smacked in the face. Very great. Also, Green Surge again seems to be part of the deck, so Green Surge, stock up on those when the set finally drops. Mina also getting energies in play. Rabombi getting energies into the hand. Or actually, as long as this Pokemon is on your bench, whenever your opponent plays a supporter from their hand, prevent all effect. Oh, okay, now I see what. They cannot Guzma your bench Pokemon, so they will be stuck with a 260 HP Gardevoir. They cannot Guzma on your fairy types, and that means they will have to hit it, and then you use Ace Rolla Loop to just win the game. Even Super Scoop Up can help out with that. And why is this deck good? Because of the fairy charms. With this, you cannot get attacked by by GX Pokemon that are lightning. With this you cannot get attacked by GX Pokemon that have abilities, so all these fairy charms, with this you cannot get attacked by GX Ultra Beast. So you have an option against everything in the meta right now, so that's why Gardevoir is gonna be one of the top decks again. So they keep printing OP Gardevoir cards. I don't know why that is, but this is going to be, if I just recap it, there's going to be 2 new top decks, Buzzwole and Pheromosa, Gardevoir and Sylveon, and then a couple of rogue decks. I already talked about the stall decks, but there's also this Gengar and Amistar deck. Look at this, 4 GXs of the Mimikyu and Gengar. Why is this good? Poltergeist deals 50 damage for every trainer card you find in your opponent's hand, and with Amistar you just lock the opponent down so they cannot play item cards. And since this, your bench will not be filled up, they will have more bench Pokemon than you, meaning item lock is in play, and that means you just rack through the opponent. There's also Surprise Box, put a Pokemon card from your opponent's discard pile in the hand, which means you can just stack up on all useless items into their hand to juice out your damage output even further. So this is going to be one of those decks that will work out thanks to shutting down the abilities of GX Pokemon. Trade will no longer work and stuff. Of course, the Surprise Box is coming out, and then the Green Surge again. 4 copies of Green Surge. This is going to be a staple in a lot of decks. I haven't talked about it before. Stock up on those. Think about the top decks right now. Maybe stock up on Buzzwole and Pheromosa GX. Maybe on Gardevoir and Sylveon. Those seems to be the best ones at the moment. Don't play stall. Don't go there. Nobody wants to see you playing stall. Even though stall can be fun if you're playing it, I'm not a big fan of that. What else have I noted down? A couple of rogue decks popping up here and there. We have some more stall decks, but this seems to be kind of a cool rogue deck with Hitmonchan. If you use Hitmonchan, you smack 30 damage and switch to the bench. Then you just wall this out with, I don't know if there's a wall Pokemon in there. There's also some stall variants available of that. But you also just can then use the attack of Hitmonlee, sniping 90 damage if you use Hitmonchan's attack first turn. And then after that, if you use Hitmonlee's attack, you can use the Hitmontop to do this 60 on everything. Together with the Tapu Lily with the damage, magical swap here, you can just get yourself a cool deck here. It's kind of a spread deck. All the rest of the cards are pretty, similar. That we've got familiar with, and there's also Mr. Mime, because Mr. Mime and spread goes hand in hand. That means no longer they can rely on Ace Roll line. You just spread a ton of damage around with your Hitmontop and Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee. There's gonna be a lot of damage in play. There's also I think a new stadium card coming out for fighting Pokemon, but more on that later. So yeah, that was it. Stall decks get Lieutenant Surge and Lucario Melmetal GX. There's a couple of rogue decks like Gengar Mimikyu and Hitmonchan, so a lot of variety, I think. And then there's 2 new top decks, Gardevoir and Sylveon GX, thanks to this, the many fairy charms. And of course, there's going to be the Buzzwole and Pheromosa GX, because that GX move is just broken, and with B-String you can get it off. Okay, that was it for this kind of a recap of the tournament. I also want to just state down that there's also going to be cards that we're getting in May and the Unbroken Bonds set that are not being played in this tournament just yet. And what are those? We're just going to go on Limitless, go on translations, because Fire is going to get OP, so there's going to be Charizard and Reshiram Tag Team GX. Let's just open this card up, because this is going to be one of those huge ones. We can use Kiawe to just get this going on. 200 damage, and actually this is all about the second attack. 230 damage. You cannot use it during your next turn, but with things like Escape Rope and Guzma, you can reset the effect. 230 is huge. Kiawe to set it up. Outrage, dealing 30 damage plus 10 more for every damage counter on your Charizard and Reshiram. I think this is also going to be one of those top decks. Not only that, I do think that Arcanine will see a couple of play. You dish 50 damage to yourself with the second attack, and you dish out 190 with the second attack. It's just fantastic. Why are we going to be able to do that? There's going to be a new supporter out there that can help out with Fire-type Pokemon. I don't know where it is or how it's called. It's called Welder. Here, I've noted it down. That's cool. So Welder, attach 2 fire energies from your hand to one of your Pokemon, and then you can draw 3 cards. Energy acceleration of this kind is awesome. We've seen it before with Blacksmith and Kiawe, but this does not end your turn, so you can just set it yourself up with your fire types. I do expect that fire can get a huge kind of support here. There's going to be a lot of fire decks around, which means Buzzwole Pheromosa will also be top tier, but will get smacked down thanks to the fire. Many fire types that are also coming in the set. Let's just scroll a little bit. What else? I just have to state again that you need Green Surge. 4 copies of that will be a staple. There's also going to be more supporters coming out here. There's going to be a supporter of Reds, a Reds challenge. You have to discard 2 cards from your hand to play this, and then you can search your deck for any card you want and put it in your hand. I wonder if people will be using that. it's gonna be an ideal way, and decks that only run 4 energies, 4 DCEs for example, to just get those DCEs. Reg Challenge does seem like it could work out, although Green Surge is way better if you run Energy Lotto. That's just my opinion. Also, I'm just gonna talk about this Fighting Dojo. Pokemon with basic fighting energy attached to them deal 10 more damage against the opponent's active Pokemon. If the player's remaining prize cards is more than the opponent's, you dish out 40 extra damage instead. So let's say you have a baby Buzzwole, for example. You have a fighting energy attached to that. You dish out like Sledgehammer for like 120 with a choice band, 150 with this side if you're behind, 190. Wow, wow, this is gonna be fantastic to use. Fighting Dojo, I do think there's a lot of hope for that, and that's it actually for this video. Also, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the new Baby Blacephalon here. Discard as many fire energies from your hand as you like, then you dish out 50 damage for each energy discarded, and there's gonna be a lot of fire support because get a fire, let's just say energy. We just have to search this out because there's a lot of item cards also being brought out for fire types. Here we have it, Flame Crystal. Put 3 fire energies from your discard pile into your hand. Wow, together with Fiery Flint, you have options to get energies from the discard pile, from the deck, for whatever, and then you just smack with Baby Blacephalon thanks to Beatrix. A lot of things will be possible with the new set. Anyhow, this was a little recap of what to expect in Unbroken Bonds. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to demolish the like button. Of course, I'm going to do a full detailed review and top 20 cards or top 10 cards of the new set when I finally get like the official set list. This is just to have a little bit of insight for you guys to just just start yourself being hyped for the new set. I'm very excited because Zapdos is still good, and I wonder how good it will be when all those new tag teams come out. That's all thanks to Tapu Koko GX. All those tag teams do need tons and tons of energy, so that's why Zapdos is still around. Yeah, I wish you all a very fantastic rest of your day. Let me know what your favorite new deck of this video was. Was it maybe the Gengar Mimikyu tag team with Almastar? Are you a fan of Gardevoir that just cannot get touched at all unless you just one-shot a Gardevoir? Let me know in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed the video, just feel free to share with your friends and family to just let them know what is coming in the format. Anyhow, this was Zapdos TCG here. I wish you all a very fantastic rest of your day, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.
If you wanna go and test a deck that isn't played a lot in this format, then listen to what I'll say. If you wanna go and try it out with me, let me know how it does in a tournament. I think it could be really great. Chilling on Sundays while new ideas pop in my brain. Where is my note?